Alright guys, I'm trying to mute the fan noise with my hand, so that's why I have the laptop closer to me than usual. So, Saturday wrapped up just now, and before we get into tomorrow, I thought I might as well pump this one out. First game, Jets-Bengals. I don't know, it was hard for me to maintain interest in that game. I just didn't get the feeling that either team was particularly good. I thought both teams were heavily flawed. Every team this year is flawed, but the Jets and the Bengals are just so flawed. It's just not a very compelling matchup. But I was very surprised with the way the game played out. The Bengals were never able to put Sanchez in a situation where he needed to make a play, and Sanchez never had to make a play. He had a good game. I mean, he completed a high percentage of his passes. He didn't turn it over, but they never put him in a situation where he needed to make a play. So I was surprised about that because when the Bengals went up 7-0, I thought, okay, this is it. This is done. A seven. I mean, they're going to kick another field goal and then it's going to be over because Sanchez is going to be 2 scores down. But after the Jets scored their couple touchdowns, I thought to myself on that first drive when the Bengals were about to score and Coles fumbled, they needed to kick a field goal on that drive and they didn't get it. They needed to make sure they would go up by 2 scores early because at that point the game would have been pretty much over. But they couldn't stop the run. Thomas Jones, Sean Green gashed them. I really thought the Bengals were going to just do everything they could to stop the run and dare Sanchez to pass on them. And I thought they did. I just thought they weren't capable of stopping them because the Jets O-line is really good. I mean, all 5 of those guys have just been playing so great this year. And you saw it today. The Bengals could put 9 in the box. It didn't matter. The Jets found a way to move the ball on the ground. So that was impressive. That's something that's not easy to do, and it allowed them to dictate the game. And, Sanchez did make a couple nice throws to Dustin Keller and a couple good ones to Kotchery, but they didn't let him lose the game, and I thought that was good. And as for Cincinnati's side, Palmer was terrible. I know the numbers are average, but I thought he was horrible. He was floating passes, overthrowing everything, putting his receivers in bad situations. Because Benson, I thought, played great. Benson had a fine game. There was nothing wrong with what Cedric Benson did. Revis shut down Ocho Cinco again, of course, twice in a row now. But Revis shuts down just about everyone except, I guess, Ted Ginn Jr., but we're not going to talk about that. So, yeah, I was just really surprised with how the Jets came out there and really imposed their will on the Bengals. They ran the ball all day. The Bengals offense wasn't able to do much, and Shane Graham, damn, I feel for that. Those were easy kicks. Those were chip shots. Man. I don't know what else to say about that one. I don't think the Bengals are going to be using their franchise tag on Shane Graham this year, and it's a very tough loss for them, I'm sure, at home, losing to a rookie quarterback at home. But, they had a positive season, but I think it was blatantly obvious to everyone that it wasn't a Super Bowl quality team, and it was a team that was inevitably going to get beat down in a fairly embarrassing fashion, and in this instance, well, there you go. That it was kind of embarrassing out there today. Second game, Cowboys-Eagles. This was actually a pretty good game. It ended up, it held my interest, and I was surprised with some of the things I saw, the way Dallas went out there. And, they moved the ball really well. Early on, they couldn't get points, but eventually they started to. And lots of penalty flags in this game. Just a sloppy game in general, I think, on both sides. I don't think anybody benefited from it or anything. I don't think it was the product of bad officiating, just ugly play. So that slowed it down a little bit, but it was still a good game, I thought. 34-14. I don't know. It's just that it seems like the Eagles couldn't make any big plays except for the Maclin-Vick to Jeremy Maclin play. And that's, if the Eagles can't make big plays, they're done. They're like the Phoenix Suns. The Suns have to hit threes. The Eagles have to hit big plays. And every time it seems like they need a first down, they can pick it up with Miles Austin or Patrick Creighton. They get open and they get first downs. And it seems like the Eagles just don't have an answer to that. Roy Williams made some plays. They ran the ball fairly well. Excuse me. What else? Just the whole team played great. The defense got a lot of both defenses got a good amount of pressure, but the Dallas defense in particular got a lot of pressure. But what really impressed me about Dallas was their secondary play, not letting any blown plays, not letting any big plays go except for the Vic to Macklin play. Because, it's very easy to leave people wide open when you're playing the Eagles, and they really didn't do that. I mean, McNabb missed some opportunities. I thought, as a whole, the Eagles were just never able to get a play where everything went right. Either everybody was covered, McNabb would throw it into the dirt, there'd be a free rusher, or, just every time something just did not go quite right. So, every time. And, I'll say, after this game, I think next year either Andy Reid's going to be gone or Donovan McNabb's going to be gone. And I'm not saying this out of a, snap reaction. I think it's time. Because McNabb played pretty poorly out there. And Reid, I talked about last week how maybe the Eagles were hiding something, maybe they were concealing something to use the next week, but he had nothing. He had nothing because the Eagles' offense, they moved the ball from time to time, but it never meant anything. They couldn't punch it in. They couldn't score. They couldn't do anything meaningful with it. And that's the third time in a row it's happened against this same team. So Reid had nothing, although, the players need to execute. McNabb had nothing. I think one of those guys is going to be gone this offseason, Maybe it's Kevin Kolb time. Maybe it's time to get a new head coach like, Leslie Frazier. And speaking of coaches, I got something to talk about a little later. But, yeah, that's about it. So congrats to Dallas for getting their first playoff win in 14 years. They sure as hell deserved it because that was a pretty vicious beatdown. The game held my interest pretty much the whole way through. I don't know. I never really lost focus like I did with Jets-Bengals. And we move on to Sunday. I'm 0-2 in picks, so I'm on life support. I need some help tomorrow, so here's hoping, right? Alright, I'm out.